Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Mariah, and today I'm going to be doing a book review over Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkin. So as with all of my book reviews, I will be doing a spoiler-free part first, and then I will give you a little heads up so you can exit before I go into the spoiler parts if you have not read it. And if you have read it, you can leave comments down below about the book and your thoughts and ideas about it. Any information you want to know, any links to anything, I always link every book I talk about in my videos, and I leave my Goodreads and my social media down below. So if you want to talk to me through any social medias, go ahead and click those and I will be happy to talk with you. So Anna and the French Kiss, if you do not know, is a contemporary. Follows Anna, who her senior year, she is shipped off to a boarding school in France, and she is not happy about it. Her dad is a writer. He writes contemporary novels, mainly about people with leukemia. Because her dad's books are so popular, they're being adapted into movies, and so he's making more money, so he sends Anna off to this boarding school. She normally lives with her mom and her brother, and dad doesn't really give her the money, so she's in this fancy boarding school where all these people have been there for the past 3 years for the most part, and she doesn't know anyone, and she has less money than everyone there, so she kind of feels a little bit lower than everyone else. So she struggles at the beginning to kind of find herself and find where she fits in, and of course moving all the way to another country without even being asked would kind of throw anyone into being a little bit upset and lonely. So the first part of this book, Anna is in her dorm, and she is crying and upset, and a girl named Meredith hears, and she comes and talks to her and kind of shows her around and tells her to come sit with her and her friends the next day, and so Anna does. When Anna sits with them, she meets St. Clair, and he's just one of those boys. So when Anna goes and sits with them, she meets St. Clair, who is a boy that she instantly thinks is attractive, and he's really nice to her, and they instantly become really, really good friends. And St. Clair does have a girlfriend, and Anna is kind of talking to a boy back home named Toph, so there is a little bit of they're just friends, and they don't want to stray from that. But Anna starts to have feelings for St. Clair that she keeps pushing aside because she's talking to Toph, and St. Clair has a boyfriend, and they don't want to ruin their friendship. So this book is really a coming of age kind of. Anna is coming to find herself, and that she can do things on her own. I do notice that she has a little bit of anxiety, like she doesn't want to travel to places by herself. She really likes to go to the movies, but she wouldn't go by herself, and once she went with a group of people, she started going by herself almost every night of the week to movies because she wants to be a film critic, which I found really interesting. That it was nice to see her kind of come out of her comfort zone that way, and you could tell she really started to find her place in France. And when she goes back home for the holidays, you can kind of tell how things are different, as they would be for leaving for 4 or 5 months. And I like to see the little aspect of everything, that things may seem greener on the other side, but they aren't always. And Anna had to go through a lot of stuff her senior year. All the stuff Anna went through, I kind of felt that something that I had gone through when I was in high school, and my relationships that I had with my friends and boyfriends in high school. So I really related to her as a character, even though her situation was completely different because she was in another country. A lot of the things she went through, I went through, and I could relate to her very well, and I think that's why I enjoyed her as a character so much. That Anna was a great, complex character, and I enjoyed her very, very much. Now I will say there is the trope of love triangle in this, and not just one, but I think about 4 love triangles in this. It's just kind of a whole slew. It's like a love octagon, basically. And it was so complex that I was like, oh my god, what the hell? Take love triangles from one regular spot to like above and beyond. So I guess if you're going to do love triangle, you might as well do multiple. I also think that Stephanie Perkin did a really, really good job of showing Paris and like illustrating the setting in a way that I almost feel that I was there and I could kind of picture it, because obviously I've seen pictures of France, but I've never been there before, so I kind of have an idea of what France is like, and then I take her descriptions and I kind of make my own Paris in my head. Anna goes throughout her year, and the end of the book is obviously the end of her senior year and what's going to happen after that. The next book is Lola and the Boy Next Door, which has the picture of San Francisco on it, and I believe San Francisco is where one of the characters is going to be in the next book. So I think that's how they're going to tie in together. So there was a girl named Isla who's a year or 2 younger than Anna in this book, which I'm assuming is going to be the Isla in the 3rd book. So I could see how they all kind of tie together. The little bits and pieces we got to see of Isla I really enjoyed, so I'm excited to get to that 3rd book and see what she's like as a character from her point of view. So I really did enjoy this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a great book. I flew right through it. I didn't find anything super spectacular about it, so I didn't give it a 5 stars, but I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun reading it, and I found myself laughing and crying, and I don't really cry very much with books, and I got pretty teary-eyed with this. So this was a great contemporary, and I was kind of in a slump until I read this. I read 300, this is a 360-page book. I read the last 300 pages in one day. I flew through it. I didn't go to bed because I wanted to finish the book, and I don't do that very often. So this was a really good book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. So now I'm going to get into the little spoiler part. So I'm going to go and give you a countdown, and you can jump off of here and come back after you've read the book if you have not read it yet. Well, here are the spoilers. Let's just start with the love triangles. Obviously, the main one is Anna, St. Clair, and Ellie. Ellie means St. Clair's girlfriend, which you should know if you've read the book. But that is the main one, and then if you think about it, you also have Anna, St. Clair, and Mare, and Ellie, St. Clair, and Mare. So they're kind of like a 4. And then you have Anna, Bridget, and Toph. So there's another love triangle thrown in there. I did think it was a little bit too much, the love triangles. I get it, they're in high school and everyone has feelings for each other, but I feel like we could have drawn it back. I feel like I understand why Mare was in there because she was such good friends, and that was a part of the plot and making her feel like she doesn't have any friends left because her best friends mad at her. I understand that from a plot point, but at the same time, I'm like, you don't need that many love triangles in a book. Also, how people say that this has cheating in it, it romanticizes cheating. I don't think it does that at all. Me in high school, in my high school relationship, my senior year, I personally broke up with my high school boyfriend after I graduated high school, before I was going to college, because I knew I was going to college and I wanted to branch out. And sometimes you just know that, though you were in a high school relationship and it was a great relationship, my high school relationship was awesome. He was awesome. We're still good friends, but you just know that that's not the relationship that you're going to be with forever. You know, it's the relationship you needed at that time. So St. Clair and Ellie could see that they were falling apart, but they both were so used to each other that they didn't have the strength to break up with each other, even though it was something that they both knew should be coming, and they both kind of knew it was happening. St. Clair was just too afraid to let go of what he knew because of his mom, which I completely understand. They didn't even, the only thing that they did was they kissed. They kissed, and then he went and broke up with her right after they kissed. Yes, that's cheating, but that is not romanticizing cheating in my mind. He kissed someone else, and he went and he told her he broke up with her right afterwards. Yes, I'm not saying that that is okay. No, I'm not saying he shouldn't have broke up with her first. I'm just saying it doesn't romanticize it. I mean, it happens all the time. People fall in love with people that are in relationships, or have a crush on people that are in a relationship. It happens in books. It happens in real life. And that's just how it happens. Sometimes people kiss other people in their relationship. No, it's not okay. But it should, I mean, the book doesn't say it's okay. The book says it's wrong, and there are repercussions for what they did. Huge repercussions. Anna loses almost all of her friends for a little bit because of this. Besides that, I really enjoyed how Anna and St. Clair's relationship was strictly friendship for the majority of the book. They were best friends. They started as best friends, and obviously they were attracted to each other, but they kind of grew on those feelings after they became best friends, and I really enjoyed their friendship. And I also really enjoyed Anna and Bridget's friendship. Obviously, before the thing happened when she got home, and after when they kind of started to repair things, I think Anna and Bridget's friendship at the beginning was a great friendship, and it kind of shows how high school friendships are. And I'm still best friends with 3 of my best friends from high school, and I think that if something like that would happen between us, we would have worked through it, because there are some friends that just stick around forever. And I genuinely felt horrible for Anna when she was home on break, when her brother, I almost cried when her brother was talking about basically saying he liked Bridget better, and Bridget did this and all this stuff, and I teared up because I have a younger brother, and I can imagine the feeling of him being so mad at me for being gone, and then being like, oh, I like her better, and just kind of blowing me off. And then when she goes to the concert and she finds out Toph and Bridget are dating, and he just basically says, I'm boning her, that's my girlfriend, in front of everyone. I can imagine how humiliated she would be that her friend didn't even tell her. And I felt really bad for her. I was like, oh my god, what the hell? This girl can't catch a break. So obviously St. Clair and Anna worked things out, and they are an adorable couple at the end of the book. I loved them together, and I'm so glad that they ended up getting together after he was done with Ellie, and that they're both going to be in California, so they're not going to be too far away from each other. And since I believe Anna's going to be going to school in San Francisco, and that's where Lola, I believe, is going to be, because the bridge on the back, or on the front cover. So I'm going to guess that maybe Lola is going to be going to the same college as Anna is going to. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work, but I really hope that I see more Anna and St. Clair in the next 2 books, because I really enjoyed them as characters. So like I said, I gave this book a 4 stars. I'll leave it linked below so you can see other people's reviews on it and see a variety of what people thought. That's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.